A lab data problem is really just a percent yield problem with the numbers you needed having to be fleshed out a little bit by doing some subtracting by analyzing what happened in the lab. We still follow the same basic process. I should start with write and balance the equation. I'm going to need to read about what they did, placed a piece of nickel in silver nitrate. So I got nickel plus silver nitrate plus 1 minus 1, a match made in heaven. It's going to make silver because it's going to be replaced. It's a single replacement. The other product is going to be nickel nitrate. Since nickel is plus 2 in this chart, in this case, I'm going to have nitrates taken twice. Got to balance that. Since I see 2 nitrates over there, I better put 2 nitrates over here. And since now there's 2 silvers, I'm going to put 2 silvers. Step 1, exactly the same. Write and balance. So what was I given? And what do I want to know? What are they asking me about? Trying to figure out some of this information. They placed a piece of nickel in silver nitrate. When I start to read the data, I see I have data about nickel. The nickel is what I'm going to start with, the given. The silver nitrate doesn't seem to be mentioned. It's just information needed to balance the equation. And then the silver metal, I have information about silver metal, silver with silver here. And so the silver is going to be what I want to know about. So I was given the amount of nickel. I wasn't quite given the amount of nickel, but I can figure that stuff out by doing a subtraction. How much nickel did I have? 5, right here, 5 minus 4.69. How did I know that? Well, because you threw a hunk of nickel into a beaker, when later it weighs less. How much less? 0.31 grams. Unfortunately, we have, well, let's check the chart. Once we've got a box around what I was given and what I want, I need to convert that to moles because it's in grams right now. How do I do that? Well, 0.31 grams of nickel. I suppose I could put this down here because it says from the mass of nickel reacted determine the theoretical yield. 0.31 grams of nickel. 1 mole of nickel, according to the periodic table, is 58.69. That's going to equal 0.005 moles. Pretty darn small number. Let me double check that. 0.31 divided by 58.69. This is where I should probably be a little careful, because if I simply round it off to 0.005, just one important or significant digit, it might not be enough information. I'm going to leave that on the calculator. Even though I wrote 0.005 moles, I'm not going to clear that right now. I think that might come into play, those extra digits. I can make myself my BCA table right here. I don't need every box, but I had to structure this one a little bit differently. I'm going to, of course, start with 0 and 0 of this. I started with, they don't tell us how much silver nitrate, so apparently I have excess, and I really don't care how much. What I do need is the 0.005 moles here to figure out how much silver. So this is my next important box. They asked me about the silver metal, and they told me how much. That's the information that they were giving me, is how much is going to be left over. So how much should we get? If you start with 0.005 of this, we got to figure out how much should we get. Check the mole ratio. 1 mole of nickel results in 2 moles of silver. That's a 2-to-1 ratio. So 0.005 would end up with 0.01 moles of silver, twice as much. I'm going to get that calculator back over here, times 2. When I hit that, when I look at that, once again I got 0.01, but it's 0.0105, and so there's extra digits there, and I'm going to just keep that into the calculator. because even though, all right, so I've got that much. Determine the actual yield. Wait, that's not where I need. Actual. First, I've got to figure out the actual. Then I'll do the percent. This over here is the theoretical yield. So the actual is going to be taken from these numbers. If you take the 103.13 grams of that's beaker and silver and subtract however much is glass or beaker, you're going to have 1.08 grams Ag actual. I never did complete my actual theoretical. I'm making 0.01 moles. I'm making 0.01 moles of silver theoretically, 0.01 moles of Ag, and one mole of Ag, 1 mole of silver is 107.87. When I go back to this calculator, that number's still on there. Even though I wrote 0.01, the calculator has more information. Times 107.87. I'm going to get 1.14 after rounding grams of silver. So how much was I? So the next thing I'm going to check is, how do I do percent yield again? Actual divided by theoretical. How much did I actually make? 1.08 grams. How much was I theoretically supposed to get? 1.14 grams times 100 equals 94.7 or 95%. If you're getting numbers around 100, it probably has to do with the idea that when you did round instead of keeping those extra numbers, it cut off a lot of important information. It's tough to know when the right and the wrong time to round is.